Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our Matchstick Mouse picture. We're going to finish off the picture today. Basically we've only really got the background part of the room and mouse to do, so it should be fairly straightforward, but I just felt there wasn't really time to squeeze it into yesterday's. It took us quite a while to sort of follow through all the instructions on our gingerbread man, and also need to work out how to make it so that he stands out a bit but not too much, and that I usually do the background in Mouse's house brown and mouse brown, so I need to work out how I'm going to do that so that it stands out. I'm actually going to start with the elements that aren't brown so that I can make it a little bit easier for myself. So I'm going to start with Matchstick Mouse's hat. Now I want her to have a red hat. I've got a couple of reds here I've picked out from my Prismas. I'm still sticking with my Prismas. I've got the crimson red and the scarlet red. The crimson are being a little bit darker. I'm actually going to start with the scarlet. It's Scarlet Lake, sorry. I'm going to start with that and do a layer of red lightly on the parts of the hat I want to be red, just to start with, so that I can work out exactly where the red parts of the hat are. And we do have the sort of brim, which I want to be white, but I can maybe make that fluffy. I'll decide later. So there's a very light layer, and then I'm going to take the darker red. This is the crimson red. There are darker reds. I'm going to try this one and see if it works well enough for me, and I'm going to use it on the edges and then just try to scumble it in a little bit towards the middle. That's still quite pale, isn't it? Scumble it in. I might grab a darker one. What have we got? Oh, this one's dark. Look at the point on that one as well. This is the Crimson Lake. It's going to add a little bit of that, just a touch. Darken it up a bit more. I'm having trouble with my light again. It's reflecting off the pencil. There we go. Now I'm going to go back to the lighter red, the Scarlet Lake, and I really want to have quite a solid red, because our gingerbread man is so bright. I want to make sure that some of our other colours are really intense as well. And so I'm just going to layer this up a little bit. I know you can press quite hard with Prismas and get the colour down, but I'm going to take it step by step. I can't see any of that darker red now, so I'm just going to block in as much as I need, and then I'm going to go back to my Crimson Lake and just try to put it on top, and I hope we can see it a little bit. I'm not really used to Prismas. I've never, as I say, I haven't used them on this paper, so I'm not sure. We go, just pops them down. Yeah, I think that shows just a little bit. It might be, I can't see it in the camera, but I can see it with my eye. I think it might just be that it's a little bit far away for you. If I pop it a bit closer, I don't know if that helps really. Now I want to do some pink for the ears and tail. Just got to find my pink. It's, I've got my trays piled on top of each other. Here we go. What pinks do we have? Actually, I rather like that colour. I think I'm going to use this colour. This is called, oh, I can't read it, hang on. Peach, Deco Peach. I had to put it really close to my eyes to read that. As I say, the light isn't brilliant in here. It's still early. Yesterday I was recording, I've just continued recording, so this is a continuation from yesterday's video. And as I say, it's quite dark in here. With the ears, I always try and put a little bit more here where I think it's going to be deeper and therefore darker, a more intense colour. This is a nice colour, isn't it? You can see I haven't even sharpened this pencil yet. I've been really undaring with these Prismas, but as I said yesterday, it's so hard to find room for them all. but I found a better method today of sort of piling the trays on top of each other rather than trying to keep them in the box, which the box takes up a lot of room. So there we go. Let's go right to the edge, and her tail as well. I sometimes feel that with these pictures, any picture really, if you know how you want to colour a certain bit, then you can do that first, and then it helps you work out what's going to look right with the rest of the page. Otherwise you can just sit there thinking, what shall I do? What colour should I do for the window? Well, you know, it's like, don't worry about the window. Let's do the rest of the page first, and can come back to that, whatever it might be, whatever bit you might be sort of struggling with really. Okay, I'm just checking that I've done all the bits. I think I'd quite like to just go in a little bit darker on a few of the areas, and I'm thinking that this nectar colour might just work for me, and I'm just going to pop into the ear there. I'm going to try and fade it out a bit. Just a little bit darker in the bottom of the tail here, and then sort of fade it up, and on this bit it would be down here, just to create a little look of shadow. And then quite sure where on the feet, maybe between the toes there, like that, and under her fingers, just the smallest bit. There we are. I'm going to stop being fussy now. I think I'm going to do the background first. I was saying I didn't know how to do the window. Actually, I know how I'm going to do the window, so I'm going to actually do the window first, and then move on to the rest. How I tend to colour the windows is I use a dark brown, so I'm going to use the dark brown and show you what I tend to do. I'm just wondering what that is. I think that is a bit of the window frame there. Be careful not to colour Beetle. What's that in his hand? Do you think he's got a little bit of food in his hand there? I think he might do. Maybe he's got a bit of this. Maybe I should have coloured it green. So I'm doing a light base. That's it, isn't it? And then I want it darker on the edge. And then I'm going to fade that colour in towards the centre. I was going to use a darker colour, but I think this might work on its own. We'll just see how it works. So I want it quite defined right on the edge, and then the same on this bit, and then lighter towards the middle. Can't do much with that bit down there. And I'm going to sit back and see if that's worked. My idea was to try and make it look a bit rounded, and I think it has worked, so I'm happy. She says still fiddling. There we go. Let's just fill that bit in. There he is. Okay. Now we have the wall and the floor. I often do them the same colour because I think they would be. It's like a little burrow. I'm looking at what choice I have got in these pencils. Let me see. We haven't got lots of browns, have we? There seems to be quite a lack of browns in Prismas. Am I right, or am I missing some? Let me just check my trays. Those are blue. Those are pink. Okay. Well, let's grab this colour. Let's use the chocolate. Shall we use the chocolate? The light umber. I'm going to use the light umber actually. Here he is, light umber. And do the background. It's going to look therefore quite different to the gingerbread man. I'm going to just do a layer all over. Now I'm holding my pencil quite far down, you can see that, and I'm colouring on the side. I'm trying to be really gentle because colouring on the side could break it. but I just want to get a layer of colour down and fairly even and light, and that is really the best technique I have found for doing that. Go under his there. Now I think I might be colouring Mouse in greys. Now I haven't tried through my book to make Matchstick Mouse the same colour, so if I show you back through, you know, there she is sort of different shade of brown to that one, different shade there, different shade there. So lots of different, there she's grey in that one and grey in that one. So I don't try and keep it consistent throughout. I know some people will want to, and that's absolutely fine, but I use different pencil sets for different pages as well, and so that means that she doesn't get to be the same colour. I know I did a very quick flip there. I will do a proper flip through of the book when I finish it. I'm actually getting through it quite quickly. It's a lovely book, and the pictures don't take long, so it can be quite fun to oh, someone's printing something, I can hear them. I think the children are just getting ready for their online lesson. Starts at 9, it's 10 to 9. So we have got little marks and bumps and stones and things in the wall and the floor, so I'm not going to totally ignore those. Now that's really pale, isn't it? I'm trying to avoid the warm colours that I used for the Gingerbread Man. I think what I'm going to do is I'll take that brown that I was going to use, the chocolate, and I'm going to use it for the stones and things, and I'm just going to take a dark layer around the edge and less towards the middle to make them look a little bit rounded. And that will sort of get that little bit done, so I can start to think about how I want it to look. Ooh. My sleeve is dragging on my pencils. There. Now I'm going to grab my light umber again, and I'm going to darken this edge and then bring the colour in and fade it. This is the technique I tend to use for my wall. This wouldn't happen, but because we've got this sort of circle, I think it sort of focuses your eye towards the centre, which I rather like. As I say, it's not sort of, wouldn't really look like this, but it's not a realistic picture. So all the way around, and it's quite simple. So basically layering up here and then less as you come in. We do need to deal with some of these shadows and things, but we'll do that in a bit. Now, I'd like to make this look a bit warmer. So I'm thinking of switching to, yes, let's try the, use the goldenrod. It's a sort of orangey, goldeny brown, and I'm just going to put it all over. And it will help to sort of blend up our colour a bit and warm it. Can you see? I think that looks much nicer, much warmer. What I tend to do is I tend to do a darker colour, then a mid-brown, then a yellowy colour, and it just warms that background. But I haven't done quite so many stages here because I'm going to come back and do some of this shadow in a minute. I'm doing it slightly differently today. I don't know why, it's because I'm using these pencils are less familiar to me. So I wasn't sure how many layers I would be able to get out of them and that sort of thing, and how it would look. But I find if you go gently, if you're not confident, go gently, colour lightly, and just gently build up the colour, and you can't really go wrong. It's always a way to cover up a mistake or a colour you dislike. Black Posca is quite a nice pen to have in your arsenal, as people say, because it if you make a big mistake you can just splodge some black over it, and it doesn't go through most paper, so it doesn't go through the page. Right, we're getting somewhere. Now, shadowy bits. I'm going back to my light umber, and I'm going to sort of do this bit where these lines are. I think this is supposed to be indicative of the shadow from the mouse and the gingerbread man, like that. Let's put a bit more down, and then I'm thinking here, put a bit more there. Just helps to differentiate the floor and the wall, which I think is quite important. And then I'm going to do an even more yellowy colour just to finish. What's this? This is the yellow ochre, and it will really nice warm it up. You don't have to do this final layer. I just really like to have a warm feeling. If you look at the window, it's snowing. It's actually, we've got snow outside our window today as well. So having a nice warm look on the inside, it's just cosy, isn't it? We've got our Christmas lights on today, and they're warm yellowy lights. It feels very cosy. Not in here. I haven't got any in here, in my little recording room, but that's okay. I do have a bit of Christmas candy cane. It's not really the same, is it? No one eats it, no one likes candy cane. And they came free with from Colt Pens, with orders from Colt Pens, and so I got 3 bits here. And I was going to use it to I used it to put in some photographs just to set the scene. It's Christmas, but I'm not sure what I'm going to. I might hang them on the Christmas tree. I could give them to my niece and nephew when they come, although there's 3 of these and 2 of them. Yeah, I might do that. I could give their dad one as well. That's if they can visit. This weather, it's mad. We had to cancel plans yesterday. It's such a shame. It was my niece's 18th. We're all geared up to go. I bought some food to take to make a salad to contribute and towards lunch and everything. We're all ready to go, and we got up in the morning and it snowed, and we're like, where's that come from? It wasn't even forecast. Right, mouse. Now I'm looking at my colours thinking, what can I do? I'm thinking let's do her in some French greys. I think grey's gonna, she'll stand out better in greys. Or should we do warm greys? Let's do French greys. I like the sort of browniness of them. So this is French grey 70%. And I'm going to use this for the, I colour her a bit like how Morgan O'Brien does, in that the furry bits are darker and then these non-furry bits are lighter. So I do that, but I don't always do her identically to, you know, he's obviously doesn't do her with grey at all, but as I say, I just like to mix it up a bit, and because of all the browns, then she will stand out still. I think she looks pretty in grey. There we go. It's quite simple. You can leave it quite scruffy because it's fur. You can even use a, you could sharpen this really sharp, which I wouldn't recommend. But you could use a very thin grey. This is the 30% French grey. You could use a very thin to do strokes. Now for the fur here, I tend to try and do a round and round movement to try and make it look more fluffy. Imagine this is, I'm sort of imagining this is shorter fur here. Now Morgan O'Brien leaves the bit that the whiskers are on white and this little tooth white as well. I'm going to do that for now. I've missed the ears, haven't I? And then I will decide whether I want to leave that white or not. This is quite pale, isn't it? I think it's rather cute. So just a really gentle movement. We can layer it up. I think I'm going to put another layer on top just to darken it slightly. Now go back and do the ears with the darker. This is the 70%. Like that. Now we could do a little bit of, should we do some fluff on the hat? Yeah, let me show you how to do it. So I'm going to start with the 10% cool grey. You want a cold grey for this bit. Go all the way over the white. All the way. Okay. And the bobble. Okay. Then we want a slightly darker pencil that's really sharp. I'm going to grab the 50%. It's fairly sharp. You want a sharp line and you want to make lines. Again, you could use a very thin. I'm not sure which cold grey you get in with a very thin. I haven't got them in here. Different directions because it's fur. It doesn't stick to a pattern. Put lots on. And obviously you want to overlap it over the lines. Oh, spreading the red. That wasn't my intention. Overlap it because it is fur. And the same here. And then we get a white pen. I'm going to use a Posca. This is a PC1MR. And start layering up some white. Get the white overlapping that black outline and then it will really show up. My only worry is that the white might go pink when it overlaps the red, but I'm going to have to risk it. They could have just left this completely plain white. It would have looked as good, I think. Try not to get the red overlapping too much. Now, because we've got the grey underneath, it helps the white to show up. If you hadn't put the grey there, you wouldn't see this white at all. That's why we put it in. There we go. Now we haven't coloured beetle at all. I'm just going to do beetle. I want beetle to be burnt ochre. Trying to avoid any wet pen. Just going to fade that up a bit. I mean, we might want beetle to stay white. And then I'm going to add a couple of final touches. You don't have to do these. I'm going to grab a metallic silver and I'm going to put a few spots of this in the hat. And on this bit. As I say, you don't have to do this if you haven't got one. I think it just adds, it's nice to have a little bit of sparkle. Try and keep the lines quite small. There we go. And lastly, I'm going to use the, not those, no, hang on, bear with me. The Stardust Gellyroll number 700, which is just a glitter pen for the snow. I want the snow to look white, so I'm just putting a layer of glitter on top. Like that. And there we have it. So I'm just going to tip it for you so you can see the this shine a little bit. Yeah, so there she is, Mouse with her gingerbread man. So I hope that was okay. I had a lot of fun with that page. I had earmarked it to do as a video quite a while ago. I purposely did one that wasn't from the free Morgan O'Brien downloads because I wanted, I knew that other people might do tutorials for those. There's quite a few in here that people may have done tutorials for already and have free downloads. So as I say, I left those. Pages like my page, I did this one. This has been a video as well. So that's the one I did. I don't know what pencils I used, I didn't write it on, but there are quite a few from this book which are also from that have free downloads, so look out for those, and you can find other tutorials and see how other people do the pages. I've got links. My video, the previous one I just showed you, which has the free download, in the description of the video I've got links to everybody else who was involved with that and where the free downloads are, and I'm trying to update that as I see them. So if you want to, you can go and have a look at that and try and find where the free downloads are. But I'm hoping that Morgan O'Brien is going to keep sharing them on his Instagram, so it makes it easier to find. But there we go, that's me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.